charge your worth is circulated in our industry on a daily basis, but a lot of times I feel like it leaves people more confused than with a clear direction of how they should set prices. So in this video, I'm actually going to give you a simple step-by-step formula so that you can figure out exactly what you should be charging for your services and you can be confident that you are charging appropriately. Hey guys, my name's Lauren, and on this channel, I help stylists build their brand, technical skills, and business skills. So if any of that interests you, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell right now so you don't miss anything, and let's get right into it. So step number one is you're gonna wanna total your operating expenses. So you might be wondering, what's an operating expense? Operating expenses are the expenses that a business regularly incurs in order to perform day-to-day operations. So what that means, just in plain words, is things like your color bar, your back bar, everything that you use on a daily basis in order to perform your services. And don't forget to include things like Wi-Fi, your rent, if you are an independent stylist, or you're a booth renter, or you have a suite. And then also you want to make sure to include things like licensing fees, credit card fees, and these things are kind of in contrast to maybe your startup expenses, which would be those really big heavy-duty equipment such as like a sink, chairs, stuff that you're going to have for a really long period of time that you just needed to kind of start up your business. So contrast that to operating expenses. Operating expenses are just really your day-to-day expenses. So in this case, we're going to do everything based off of 1 year. So go ahead and total all of your operating expenses that you would incur over the course of 1 year. All right, so step two is you want to give yourself a reasonable salary. So honestly, just base this off of what do you want to make? What do you think is reasonable for you to make in this year that we are talking about? We're going to be basing everything over the course of a year. So how much do you want to make? Go ahead and write it down. And while you're thinking of how much you want to make, just make sure that you are calculating kind of all your living expenses into this number, like your rent, your groceries, how much you go out to eat. And my advice when you're doing this part is don't hold back. Put exactly how much you want to make, and you can always go back and revise it later if you just don't think it's actually reasonable. Okay, so then you're going to want to add your operating expenses, which we got from step one. So let's say that's $15,000. And then you're going to add that to your salary that you gave yourself. So let's say, just for the sake of argument, it's $50,000. So that's $65,000 total. Add those two together. That is exactly what you need to bring in 1 year in order to just survive. But you don't want to just survive when you're in business. So now we're going to move on to step three to show you exactly what you need to be adding to this number to make sure that you're actually growing as a business too. Okay, so in step three, what you're going to want to do is calculate your spending for future growth. So for this one, just think about all of the things that you would like to have in your business that could make your services better, could make your business a whole lot better. Like for example, maybe you want to upgrade your space, you want to add furniture, maybe there's some really expensive equipment that you've been dying to get because you think that it's going to make a world of difference in your business. Total all of those things and put a number on it. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So step one is you want to calculate your operating expenses, and then step two, you want to calculate what your salary is going to be, and then step three, you're going to calculate for your future growth spending. So add all of those three together, and this is going to be your gross revenue goal. So gross revenue is the total sales for a given period. So in this case, we're talking about a year, so it's going to be your gross sales for a given year. So your gross revenue is going to be the minimum amount of money you need to bring in 1 year in order to realize a profit. So once you've gotten to your gross revenue goal number, you're going to want to divide that by the amount of days that you work in a year. So let's say your operating expenses are $15,000. Let's say your salary that you want for the year is going to be $50,000. And then let's say that your spending for future growth is $5,000. So that's going to give you a total of $70,000. So that is going to be your gross revenue goal for the year. So now you're going to want to take that number and divide it by the amount of days that you work in 1 year. So if you work 5 days a week, there's 52 weeks in a year. So you're going to take 5, multiply it by 52, and then you get 260 days. So now we have our gross revenue goal, and we have the amount of days we work, which is 260 days. So then you're going to divide your gross revenue, which is 70,000, divide that by 260 days. So this is going to be the number that you need to bring in every single day that you're working in order to realize your profit goal for the entire year. So for our example, 70,000 divided by 260 is going to give you $270 per day. Okay, hang with me. We're almost done. This is the last step. So you're going to take your daily revenue goal, and then you're going to divide it by the amount of times you could realistically complete this service in a day. And you want to give yourself a little bit of padding just in case you have no-shows. So let's say you can do 8 haircuts in a day. Let's narrow that down to 5 haircuts a day just for the sake of the equation. So if you do 5 haircuts a day, you're going to want to take your daily revenue goal of $270 a day, divide it by 5, and that's going to give you $54 per haircut. And now that you have that daily revenue goal, you could really take any service that you provide and then just divide it by the amount of times you could realistically basically complete that service in one day. So obviously a color service is going to be a lot more expensive because you can't really do as many color services as you can haircuts in a day. I know this probably sounds confusing, but it's only because you're watching a video and you're not kind of like seeing it all laid out. So I actually created a free pricing workbook for you guys so you could actually go through, fill in the blanks, and figure out pricing for yourself based on this formula that I'm going over in the video. So you'll have the video to kind of guide you through this workbook. And I have that in the description below if you'd like to check it out. But before you go, I have a few more free resources that I want to tell you about. So I have my Facebook group that I just created, and it's for balayage and business education. I'm going to be giving away free stuff there, and then also a lot of exclusive content that you don't see here on YouTube or on my Instagram. So if you'd like to join, you are welcome, and the link is in the description below for that as well. Also, you might be wondering, well, okay, I've had these prices for a long time. How do I know if it's a good time to actually raise my prices? So if you are interested in that, I have a new video coming out, and that'll be right here. And if you want to learn how to become fully booked in 3 to 6 months, go ahead and click right here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and also share it with a friend who you think it could really help. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I release a new free training. And then also I have a free playlist you can check out in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lauren, and I'll see you soon.